Hi everyone, it's Delaney and I'm back with another art project. So, following a line of origami things we've been doing, this week we'll be making origami paper cranes, and in the end it looks something a little like this. They're a little bit more complicated than our previous origami projects, so just pay close attention to the directions and you should be fine. All you're going to need is a piece of square paper. You can cut one out from a regular sheet, and then if you want, you can also use a pencil to help get really sharp folds. So just gather your materials and we'll get started. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing that you're going to need is a square piece of paper. I already cut mine out and I drew a design on one side of the piece of paper. Feel free to draw a design on your piece of paper too, but just on one side. And then also, if you want, you can get a pencil to help with your folds. So our first step is going to be to lay the paper with the blank side on top, and we're going to fold the piece of paper in half 4 ways. We're going to do twice diagonally and then twice vertically. So we're going to take one side, we're going to go corner to corner, like you see I'm doing here. And we're just going to line up the edges as close as we can and then fold down right on that line. So you can see I've got a triangle there, then we're going to unfold it so that we see a nice guiding line right down the center. So then we're going to take the 2 opposite corners and then we're going to do the same thing and then fold it in half again. Once again, lining up all the edges so that it lines up as close as it can. And then we can get a nice sharp fold at the bottom. Again, if you want to, use the pencil to make sure that you have a nice sharp fold, but if not, that's okay too. So we've got a triangle here for our second fold that's in half, and we're going to unfold that as well, and now we've got a nice X across the center. And then we're going to fold it upwards in half so that we have a line running right down the middle as well. We're going to line up these edges so that they're as close as they can be. And then just fold down so that we get a nice even fold. And once we have that fold, you now see that it's folded in half like a rectangle, and we're going to unfold it, and now we have a line down the center. You can turn the paper around and then do that same exact fold, folding it upwards in half. And just like the other 3 folds, we're lining up the edges. Just try to get it as close as you can. If it's not perfect, that's okay. And then once all of them are lined up, just fold down the center so we get that 4th line. Alright, we've got that, and now we're going to unfold it, and you see we've got a nice pattern there in the center. And so our next step, we're going to hold it so that it's in a diamond shape, and we're going to fold it along one of the guiding lines in half so that the 2 corners meet up and they line with each other, so that we have this upside down triangle. And now this step is a little tricky. We're going to take the edges here, and you can see how one of the folding guiding lines kind of pushes it down. So we're going to push down on these lines, and it might be easier to lay it down and do this. But we're going to push down on these lines, so you might want to fold it up, and then push it into this little pocket that it creates so that it goes underneath the top half and over the bottom so that it fits into this little pocket. So I'll show that to you again. So you have it there and it'll push down. You just have to push down along that folding line, and then you can use the other guided lines that we used when we fold them in half so that it slips into the little pocket like that. And you're going to do the same thing to the other side. You're going to push down on the guiding line so that it folds neatly right into the pocket, and then you get this nice smaller diamond shape that has a bunch of flaps down at the bottom. So you see you've got the 1 flap, the 2 folded ones from where you tucked it in, and then the one in the back. So you can just fold down on the edges so that everything's there. And what you want to do, you want to hold it so that all of these flaps there are at the bottom, and then you have the closed edges at the top. And now what you're going to do, you're going to take the front flap and you're going to fold it towards the center, kind of like you would do a paper airplane. You're going to fold it towards the center, lining it up as best as you can, and I'll show that to the camera once it's done. So you see it's lined up towards the center, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay, and now that that part is done, we're going to take this top triangle here and fold it down over the parts that we just folded. It's just one flap, so you don't have to worry about getting the front or the back. So just fold it down just like this, but then we're going to unfold it so that we have a nice guiding line there. Then we're going to turn around and do all the same folds that we did on that side to the other side. So we're going to fold the two edges in. So this will be the front flap of this side, but you only see one of the flaps. We're going to fold those towards the center, and then we're also going to fold the top triangle downwards on this side so that we get a guiding line on this side as well. And once we have those folds done, it'll look something like this. You have the two folded edges in on both sides. And now what we're going to do, we're going to unfold the edges from the center so we see these guiding lines. And what you're going to do, you're going to take the first flap, so from the bottom, you have this one flap here, you're going to take it and then pull it upwards so that you see this section come up here, and you'll see these guiding lines on the side, and you're going to take the edges and fold them inwards. They should fold pretty naturally on their own because of the guiding lines that we made earlier. So you just want to pull it upwards just by the first piece and then fold in the center so that it looks something like this. Then you're going to turn the paper around, and then you're going to do the same thing. Unfold the two from the center, pull upwards on that first flap of paper, and then fold the edges in along the guiding lines that were already made there. So if it helps, you can lay it down on the table like I'm doing here, and just fold down on those guiding lines again to make sure the folds are sharp. Okay, and once that part is done, this is what it should look like. So at the bottom, you'll have the triangle kind of separated out into two triangles, and at the top, it'll be one piece, so you want to keep the two bottom edges on the bottom. And what you want to do, just like we did last time, you want to take the front edge and fold it towards the center, kind of like a paper airplane again, just like we did with the previous steps. So you just want to take the edge, fold it towards the center, and get it as closely aligned as you can. And you're going to do that to both sides of the paper. So I'm also just taking the other side, folding it towards the center, and getting it lined up as close as I can. And this is just the front part of the side. You want to make sure you don't fold over both flaps of the paper. And then once you have that done, it'll look something like this. You see you have the one edge folded in, so you're going to turn it around, and you're going to do the same thing to the next side. You're just going to take both edges, and then you're going to fold it in towards the center. And in the end, it'll look something a little like this. You'll have both sides with the edges folded in towards the center. And then our next step is we're going to be holding it sideways, and you'll see that on the edge you can kind of open it up here, and we want to open it so that our paper will look like this, and then you're going to turn it around and then open up the other side as well, so that you now have those folded edges on the inside, and it's become inverted in a sense. And you just want to fold down on those top two triangles, which should be just a little bit separated, as you can see, and you've got some nice guiding lines here near the edge, and you just want to pull the bottom pieces to the top along those guiding lines. And it's okay if they don't stay that way. Like if you let them unfold, they may spread out a little bit, and that's okay. And now this is a big step in part of making the crane. You're going to pull on those two wings, spread them out, and then the body in the middle should puff out. You might want to be a little gentle with this, but it's okay. You won't rip it as long as you're gentle. So once you pull out those two edges, you can take one of the sides that is on the tail or the head, and then you can just fold down a little bit to make the head, and then just like that, you can adjust the wings a little bit, and then you have a completed paper crane. Alright, and we're done. As you can see, this is how mine turned out. I had a little design on my paper, so it's very colorful and bright. If you need to, go ahead and rewatch steps if you need to go over how some of the folds are made. I know some of them are pretty tricky, but you can replay them as many times as you like to get them right. So if not, be sure to post a picture of your finished cranes to the art folder, because I'm really interested to see how yours turned out. And if not, I'll see you next time with another video. Bye!